partners, I'm sure you do too. That is just the coolest thing. Well, I just want to say, it's really been thrilling to be in this vibrational space with you all. One of the things I think in life is the most important thing is to keep your vibration high. So you try to surround yourself with people who are going to help you do that. I think I said to my team today, whenever we're on a low vibe, let's just come to Seattle and start. Listen, it's instant high vibration. So, as you all know, you heard, I chose the Maharaja Chai Oolong. So let me tell you how this happened. I was at a wedding, and I was seated across the table from the esteemed Howard Schultz. we got into a conversation about teas, and I was telling him, I was mentioning a tea that I like that happened to be another company, which I will not say. And he says, well, you know nothing about tea. I'll show you what tea is. And I'm saying, no, I really like my tea. And I walk around with my tea cups, and he goes, no, I'll send you some tea to the room. So he sent me these teas to my room. And Maharaja in the package. So I made the Maharaja that morning, and I fell in love with the Maharaja. This is the pre-wedding dinner the night before, so I come and I'm like, oh my God, you're so right about that. And this is what you need to know about me. Since I was a little girl, you know, born a poor Negro child in Mississippi, and growing up in Not-a-Lot, we didn't get a lot of things often, particularly things like candy and treats. And I was the kind of kid who, if I got a treat, or like a Snickers bar or Three Musketeers at the time was my favorite, I would save that Musketeers bar until my cousins came. Because I'm the kind of person that feels that life is better when you share it. So I wouldn't want to eat the candy bar until I had somebody else to share it with and say, isn't that good? So when I really like a thing, I become like obsessed with the thing. So I have shared Maharaja with so many people, I had to make it my favorite thing because there was nobody left in my spirit. I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. So first I started Stedman, you have to try. So it has become a ritual of ours to make the tea. And he travels a lot, I travel a lot. So if I'm home alone, I literally have stopped security going around the property on a cart and going, want to come in and have some Maharaja? Lady who came to walk the dogs, I go, I just made you some Maharaja. Just came back from India where I had my little cans of Maharaja. Now in India, they know a thing or two about making tea. They're very popular, masala is very popular there. So I have my little cans. I actually texted Howard a picture of myself with my cans of tea, convincing the Indian people they need to change. So when Howard said, well, you need to come up and see how we do the whole thing. You know how people say, oh, let's have lunch. And they expect that you're going to say, okay, one day. I go, okay, Howard, I will. I will come and see how that tea is done. And it's been so thrilling, not just to see how the tea is done, because I know that you all are the coffee kings of the world, but to see that this is so much more than a coffee company. That the mission of inspiring and nurturing the human spirit is what exudes from every single person that you see here. I could feel that walking through the building yesterday. I could feel that. A human spirit in here. But more importantly, one of the reasons why Howard has become one of my new best friends, I just love him, don't you? When you get as old as I am. But one of the reasons I just adore him is because he walks the walk. He doesn't just talk it. So it's not just a bunch of mottos around on the wall. I have seen from the work that you all do in the world and experienced myself every time you walk into a Starbucks store. The sense of validation and connection and community and enthusiasm and optimism and engagement that comes from every one of you as partners. And you all are the backbone for all of that. So I congratulate you on being really one of the most outstanding high-vibing companies I have ever experienced. I was thinking last time about, what do I say to the people who've already got it right? You all have already got it right. But what really is so amazing, and I don't use that word loosely, over the years my team would come to me and say, it's amazing. It's not really amazing. What really is amazing about you, and you feel this when you go into a Starbucks store, it's like you all had good people training or something. Like there's a decency and an earthiness and a connectedness and an authenticity that comes through that I feel. And this is what I know you do. You do the thing that it took me some years on the Oprah show to figure out. Those of you who watched our show, and Bernard yesterday told me that he watched it when he came home with his mother every day and watched after school, so I've raised a lot of people in school. Boy, I did a good job. But this is what you all do through your work at being more than just a coffee company. This is what you do, one person, one cup, one community at a time. You validate people. You validate people. And I learned the greatest lesson for me in the 5,664 shows that I did, and the 35,000 number of people that I talked to, lost count. That there is a common thread in the human experience, and those of you who watch the shows know that I've interviewed everybody, except the Pope, and I'm working on him. And I started to figure out early on that there was a theme that ran through, whether I was talking to victims of abuse, whether I was talking to celebrities, whether I was talking to people who actually had committed crimes. I interviewed a father once who had murdered his twin daughters. And at the end of the interview, the father who murdered his twin daughters said the same thing to me that President Bush said at the end of the interview, the same thing that Senator Obama said when I interviewed him on the Oprah show, the same thing that Beyonce said in all her Beyonce. They all say the same thing. I'm starting to see everybody says the same thing. You know what that is? At the end of every interview I've ever done, in one form or another, the person says, is that okay? How is that? Is that okay? So Beyonce puts the mic down, and she says to me, and she's done her Beyonce thing, was that okay? I go, was that okay? You are Beyonce! But I started to see that the commonality, the common thread, what everybody is looking for, and it's the reason why I can interview somebody who's murdered their children, and also interview somebody who's been abused, and also sit with, the biggest celebrity of our time. Because I understand that the theme that runs through everybody's heart space is, did you hear me? Did you see me? And did what I have to say mean anything to you? So I learned in the interviewing process that what you're trying to do is the same thing that you all do in your work every day. When every time somebody comes into a store, you feel like you have been seen. You feel like you are heard, and you feel that you mattered. And that is what every person is looking for. They're looking to see if they matter. Every argument you ever have, every confrontation that you have, it's not about the shoes that you're arguing. You left your shoes on the floor, and you were late. It really is, think about this, is, do you see me? Do you hear me? And is what I'm doing, does that mean anything to you? Do I matter? So I just want to applaud you all in the work that you do, in making everybody that comes into your sphere feel as though they matter. When I walked in here yesterday, I knew I mattered. And what I've learned is the way you can resolve any kind of conflict is to let the person know. If it's your 2-year-old or your boss your friend, your husband, your spouse. You just have to stop and say, I hear you. And let that person know that what you're saying, it means something to me. You all do that. You do that to the 10th, to the 100th power. And, you know, choosing the tea, that was a wonderful thing. Had I known, I would have chosen the entire company. Because you really are